So EA have given us some patch notes. They've given the very first one of 1.0.2, and the question is, are they cooking with it? Now, if we do go over it, obviously, there was bound to be a first one at some point soon. Naturally, there's always going to be things that are broken, some things that just need a little kind of tweak, and it seems to be that load driven was the big one from it. Now, obviously, we've got the kind of title in itself. You've got tune-in changes to load-driven shots, improvement to AI attacking supports and positioning, addressing instances of manager career players leaving the team when simming, borderless display settings, controller, various stabilities, and much more. So predominantly the main thing that we're seeing here is going to be the load driven if you are looking from an ultimate team point of view. We also then have got a few other things, so frequency of wingers making attack runs into the box. Wingbacks will no longer drop too deep in their own half their team is in possession. So if you're looking for coins, check in the description for El Dorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website, and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with El Dorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. Improved teammates' offside awareness, always nice. Address instances of players not making runs into open space when it could be. You've obviously got some card improvements, positional players. So it is very minor stuff. There's nothing too crazy. It's very much just the standard sort of stuff. Now, in terms of the game itself, are EA cooking? Are they doing pretty well? Because personally for me, I think from a menu's point of view, it's smooth, it feels relatively quick. We've obviously got a solid amount of content. Like maybe, yes, people might have preferred a little bit more, but to be honest, with them trying to slow this power curve, and I feel like we're going to be saying that for the next like 5 months, but in terms of kind of releasing it a little bit slower, I'm absolutely fine with it. We've had a solid right back come out that's got a day or so left. We had a couple of showdowns, which is always nice. Dzeko as a striker that isn't terrible. And the big thing is we're not even into the full game yet. When you look at the kind of game modes in themselves, you look at the competitive side, obviously, you've got the Ultimate Gauntlet that will come in 4 days. That's going to be massive. And with these SBCs do coming in a little bit cheaper, could be pretty decent to see. You then obviously got your live events as well. That's going to be another thing that we haven't really got yet. You've got the finale, the Cornerstones exhibition, World Tour Silver Star League. You've then got the Season 1 Excellence exhibition. So we're not even anywhere near it. This is the first tournament that we've got as well. So it's all running relatively smooth, I would say. So menu-wise, I'm pretty happy with. Objectives have been relatively simple. I still need to just finish that one off. Obviously, then you've got your kind of ones that we're grinding towards now. You've got your live events that naturally will be something that you'll continue. And then your campaign sort of stuff that's there as well. So in general, I feel like the game has been a pretty perfect launch for when it comes to menu side of stuff. Now, obviously, gameplay is going to be a separate topic, but when it comes to the store packs, again, I think you could have done without. Pretty much most people will open up premium gold packs anyway, so I don't think that would have necessarily stopped people from doing that if they didn't release promo packs, but they have only bought out so many. Now, I don't know if we had a certain amount, like a quantity that we could open up. 50 of them last year at the start. I know we did have a lot of store packs in general, so I do get that putting them out straight away isn't great, but at the very minimum, it isn't necessarily unlimited. So if you don't get anybody in all of these packs, which you'll probably get a couple of people, at the very minimum, at least they are limited to that point. If I open up this jumbo rare, that's the only one I get. So I can kind of get behind it a little bit. Now, obviously, they need to make money. That's kind of their whole point. So releasing as kind of a certain level of promo packs was always going to be a given. Now, it will be interesting to see when the game's fully out after the first month, where do they start ramping them promo packs up? Because players are still a little bit cheaper and a little bit more expensive at times, but it is most definitely a kind of an up and down, very similar to last year. So it's always interesting to see where we can kind of go with that personally. Other than that, in terms of packs that you've got from objectives, from different rival rewards, they've been standard. Like, there's nothing too crazy with it. It's just been a pretty standard kind of experience. Squad battles is the same. You got a bit of moments. Single player draft is there as well. And then we will kind of get into more of the kind of the pro sort of stuff and when it comes to friendlies once the game is fully out. So I've been pretty good with that, to be honest, and in general it's been quite an interesting kind of period for this week to really see where this team goes. And yes, I've spent like £100 on the game, and I think the team has done pretty well. There's quite a few that are tradable that I will need to get rid of relatively soon, just because in general there's no point having all of these tradable players when we know full well the game is going to go untradeable completely. So there is ways and rounds of getting coins in this game, and in terms of gameplay itself, I've been pretty happy with it, to be honest with you. Now, yes, I'm not at the elite level. I'm definitely not going into that pro ladder where everybody is just going nuts. But in terms of kind of your mid sort of zone, everything's been relatively fine. It feels a smoother gameplay. The defending's difficult, but I'm getting used to it now, and I feel like a lot of people will be doing the same. I quite enjoy having to do it more manual. Attacking seems very smooth. If you can get the passing off, it's been relatively nice as well. So in terms of the gameplay, unless you've kind of gone through, I know there's like an advanced rainbow flick into a volley that seems to be pretty meta, and obviously the low driven is there as well. It seems to be everything else is running pretty well. The one thing that I really like is the goalkeeper's actually saving. One-on-ones, I think I've saved more than I've let in. So unless you're going for the pass round the keeper or you've got a mechanic that the goalkeeper can't save, it's been relatively enjoyable that not every through ball is delivered into a goal. If you bring your keeper out, they'll chip you. If you don't, there is a chance that you might be able to make the save as well. So it has been a very enjoyable start to that. And I think with this patch, could they break it? Could they keep it on? I've played a couple of games, and to be honest, I haven't really noticed anything different on the kind of lower end. You've obviously got, like here, apparently the driven cross pass is less accurate. First time driven passes taken from 180 degrees, which is absolutely fine. Incorrect shooting animations that sometimes occur, that's fine as well. Players weren't always able to enter multiplayer games, except in co-ops. Player auto portraits were sometimes misaligned. So pretty standard stuff across the board when it comes to the patch. So they seem to have done a pretty good job to start with, and obviously credit is where credit's due with this, and hopefully it does continue, because if they do follow the route of going into this as a very slower experience, I'm going to be very impressed to see where it can go in a quicker amount of time. So when we do get to the November, that was kind of like the end tail of November was where we really saw the game just have very minimal upgrades. Everybody was waiting for team of the season at that point. So realistically, once you did get to that point, you kind of didn't really have anything else to do. So it really was pretty much just waiting around for the next promo. Now, obviously, if we do look at the next promo, this is kind of what we've got at the moment. Now, in terms of upgrades, it seems to be a lot easier. Like Reina's has got one upgrade, Bruno's got one, I think Palmer was an 87, obviously Valverde. Now, yes, they do have the playstyle pluses, so that's going to be considerable for the kind of top 5. This, I don't think, is the absolute full squad, but even then, just going with the upgrade, I think a lot of people mistook that the slower power curve was necessarily not releasing promo packs, not giving yourselves coins, not having to spend money, but more it is each week, the promo cards. It's not like we've got a 91 Valverde this week, he gets a player of the month, we get another 91, we get Palmer as a 92, a Bruno as a 90. It's just increasing them slowly over times. Now, what it will mean is you won't need to get that Bruno, say Valverde, say you've got the 88 Valverde, you won't need to upgrade him to that 89. You might not even need to upgrade him to the 90. But once then we get to a 91 of him, that might be where you pull the trigger. Or if you've obviously go vice versa, if you haven't got the Valverde, but you could have the choice between the two, that could be the option you go with, and then you don't have to upgrade him for a couple of times. It is going to be interesting to see where we can kind of go with it, but personally for me, so far has been so good. Everything seems quite smooth. It's going to be interesting once we get into champs. Gameplay is obviously difficult to kind of get on board with to start with, because it feels different in terms of the way that you've got to set up. But after like 50 to 60 games, it seems to be almost like you've played it forever. So it's going to be something naturally, if you're not a pro at the game, or if you're not absolutely excellent at the game. It does take a little bit to get used to. You find your formation, you find your players, and it works from there. So it is going to be interesting. Let me know down below what you're going to go with, though. I think it's going to be a nice start to the game, and hopefully a nice start to a different generation of FC, because I do think this could be a great standpoint that they go with, that each year they could bring it out like this and maybe even make it slower at times. Make the game last a full year, or even bring out the game earlier, later, or just continue on the upgrades. It will be interesting to see. So we'll stay here, leave the comments down below, and I'll catch you all for that next one. Peace.